Okay, we are back with fresh batteries, nice and charged, and I did take the time to read the instructions as well as get to know this unit, and I'm going to tell you the things that I like and I don't like about this. Right now, I do have
And the
full
GoPro's
setup.
recording this time. It's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
recording this
It
time.
wasn't recording before.
All this good stuff.
Yeah, that good stuff.
Didn't capture.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my phone on here to start. And this is an extreme because my phone is one of the larger phones, if not the largest phone that's out there. It's a Nexus 6P, and I had issues with this, and I'll show you the issues that I had. In addition, the one reason that I got this originally is because of being able to use a sports camera as well as a phone. That's why I wanted to check this out. So let's go, and I'm going to put my phone on here, and we'll go from there.
Still rolling.
Okay, so this is actual footage of Mark recording while I'm recording. We'll leave that on as that's going. So one of the things that we're going to do is your camera end. My camera is over here. What you want for your camera is to be hanging off the end over here. And because of the clamps on this, if you have buttons on the side of your phone, you want to make sure that you're not pushing down on those. So let's open this up, and I'm going to get this phone as close as I can to the edge without pushing my buttons there. So now we've got that. Now, once you have that set up, very important when using one of these gimbals is you want this thing to be absolutely balanced. And the reason for that is because even if it is slightly off, if your motors are not a really, really strong motor, you will get some strain on your motors. And if it's not balanced one way, it will try and overcompensate when it's zero, so you'll never have a flat horizon. So one of the first things that you do want to do is we're going to take it from this right here, and we're going to check and make sure that this is balanced this direction. We want our phone to remain flat just like that. If we were to need to make an adjustment, if this fell forward or backward, you're going to take your screw right here, which allows you to slide your phone back and forth. I've already got that balanced out. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to hold up your camera and keep this axis stable, and you're going to check this balance between here. You want to be able to have your phone, if you put it straight up right, you want to be able to have it tilt and stay completely vertical. If you're going to adjust that, you're going to use this screw right here, and then you can slide this in and out to balance that. The next step is our third axis, and you can see right now that we're completely tilted over. Now I'll show you right here. I already have the large. There's two counterweights. This is the large one. I already have this in, and I have it as far over as it will go to try and balance out this phone. Now, like I said, this is one of the larger phones that's out there, and you can see I'm not going to be able to balance this as it is. So if I wanted to, I could probably find something to help balance this out more and get this particular phone balanced, but it's not something that this comes with. It's something I'm going to have to go find myself. But now what I'm going to show you, how it initializes, and because we have this unbalanced, I'm going to show you how it overcompensates as well. But it's allow you to at least see the functionality on this. What we're going to do is we're going to hold the power button for 2 seconds, and it's going to come on. And then we're going to go to our mode button, and we're going to hold the mode button down for 4 seconds, and it's going to initialize. And you hear that, can you squeaking? Okay. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit of motor strain because it's not balanced. This is actually very, very quiet compared to what it is right now. Okay, just knock it a bit. We have motor strain and not a whole lot I can do with that, but that's up now. In this mode, it will stay focused in the direction that you have it going. You also have a joystick that allows you to manually tilt or pan, and you can tilt in mode. Well, before I go to the other modes, I'll just go to the other. I'll go to my GoPro setup so we don't have all this strain and everything being unbalanced. And I'm going to show you one. Well, actually, since the phone is on here, let me tell you about what I don't like about this. I'm going to power this down so that I don't strain the motors much more. Okay. If you are not a perfectionist, this is an alright gimbal. And I'm going to explain that. We have our camera way out here, and it's going to be on pretty much any phone setup on this particular gimbal. Being that out here, instead of directly in line with our 3 axes, what you have, for example, if you are going to pan, instead of being right on the axis where your lens would be panning, you're actually panning around in a circular motion. The same thing for if you're going to roll. You're going to be in a circular motion. It happens to be that my camera is a little higher than this axis. It's not centered on my phone. So this right here has a little bit of roll as well. A little bit of roll. So that's a downfall on this as far as a phone setup. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch over to GoPro and show you how that's set up. It's not perfect either. One of the things that is not in the manual that you want to really take note on if you get one of these units is you would think that you'd be able to unscrew this screw and just take this off, but that's not the case. This only loosens up so that you can slide it. It does not come off. These mounts are actually mounted by these 2 little tiny hex screws right here, and the camera does come with this particular hex key. It comes with another hex key a little bit larger. And I did find that in making an adjustment, like with our counterweight down here, you don't have the size for that one. We had to go find one to be able to deal with that counterweight. Now, when I first got this, and I wanted to put the GoPro unit on, because it came with the camera mount already installed on it, there was no instructions to explain how to get this off. So this was guesswork. I assumed that I needed to take these screws off, and I really thought that once I took the screws off, well, it should come right off, right? Wrong. There's actually a couple of little tracks. This is the one that was originally on here, and this is a really bad point about this particular gimbal. There's these little hooky doodads. This is plastic. It's really thin, small plastic, and you see these 2 are already broken off because, well, there's 3 of them out of the 4 broken off. Because what I did was when I took these screws out before, I decided to just pry it because I had no idea what to do with it, and that's how they broke. So what we actually want on the screw, come on baby. So you can see already this is not a quick thing if you're going to switch between a camera or your phone or an action camera. It's not a quick process. It's not easy. Now we need to slide towards this, and now we can lift this out. Hello? Oh, that didn't slide. This did. Try it again. Oh, maybe the other way. Yeah, it's the other way. Nope, that's the whole thing is sliding. I'm being a little careful because I'm afraid of breaking those little tabs off. Ah, there we go. Now it comes off. You can see the tracks, how you pop it in and then slide it down. So if you're going to get this, this would not be something that I would suggest having to go between cameras. This is something I would say, get it, set it, forget it, don't change cameras. The one thing with the phone, you will always find that you'll have to rebalance because you can never get the phone back in perfectly. And, oh, no, yeah, we want this down here. Our GoPro mount to the outside of that. Put that in. Now we can put our screws back in there. And now that I'm switching back over to the GoPro, you're going to see the entire process of balancing this back out. Because everything is going to be completely off. And if you were to take your phone off of this, because you need to talk to somebody and you don't want a gimbal hanging off your ear, you take your phone out, you go put your phone back in, you're going to have to rebalance every time you put your phone back on. Okay, now get our GoPro in here. I wish the screw was able to go this way rather than sticking out over here. That's another downfall of this particular thing, because having this out, it does create some restriction for some movement, as you'll see when we get to that point.
Is that recording?
What? Oh shit, no.
No, stop. It's blinking on mine.
Oh wait, it's blinking.
Yeah, just got rid of that yellow symbol.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's blinking.
Okay.
Let's go. All right.
And I feel so stupid if I did that. Did that again.
Okay, so now we're gonna flip this up into here. This is spring loaded, and well, we'll just give it some room here. And we'll bring this down. Tighten that up a bit. Okay, so now we have our GoPro on there. And now we're gonna go through the rebalancing process all over again. We'll start, well, there we go. Okay, all right. So we'll start with this axis to see where we're at. You can see we're way off. So we are going to loosen this up. Which way did we go? It's going that way. Top heavy. So we're going to move this back towards us. See where we're at. Not too far.
It's really touchy, isn't it?
Yeah, just the tiniest little movement when striving to perfection, because you really want as close to perfect as you can get.
Kind of like when you're standing next to the microphone with a big booming voice.
Yes. So now you can see that this stays right there. And so we got a good balance on that axis. So now we're going to go up like this. We're going to hold on to the back here. And we're going to check this right here. And that's not bad. That actually seems to be pretty good. So now I'm going to hold this down and I'm going to check this axis back here. Oh, and because I already know it's going to be way off because I have my counterbalance way over here. So we want to take off that counterbalance and we're going to move it to the other side. So for us to do that, I'm going to go like this. Let's loosen up our GoPro and slide that out of the way. Hello. Get our screw down in here. Get our counterbalance. And I'm going to start that position there and see where we go. And something else I didn't notice last night, if you lean this all the way back, it is actually kind of, well, it's not parallel with the stand. So you want to hold this out a little bit here before you go and tighten this one down so that we have more perfectly aligned camera. Now go ahead and tighten that. That is so crazy how it turns blue. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All colors.
All right, so now we'll check that axis again. We'll hold it up, and we aren't very far off. So we'll take our screw, loosen that up a little bit, slide it out some, and put it in the middle. Oh, did you just go forward on me? Yeah, no, let's go forward on me a little bit. So we're gonna adjust this one ever so slightly. Check that again too. Okay, now that's good. We're still just a little tiny bit more out here. And a little tiny bit more out there. Okay. All right, that's close enough. Okay. So now one of the things we're going to do, I'm going to turn this around, and I'm holding this on a flat surface. We have our power button, our mode button, and our joystick control. And we're going to hold down the power button for 2 seconds, and it comes on. And now we're going to hold the mode button for 4 seconds, and it will initialize.
Is it recording?
This?
Yeah.
No, this is not recording.
Recording.
And it's still a little...
It's recording.
It's drifting. Shouldn't be drifting at all. I wonder if this is starting to go bad on me. In this mode right here, I should be able to go all over the place, and this is supposed to stay fixed, but somehow it's drifting like this. Wasn't doing that last night. I can move that a little bit with the joystick.
It's probably because it's not recording.
So in mode 1, that's what you have, this direction. And it will stay locked in on your target. And if we push our mode button 2 times, double tap it, or actually the first thing is, what are you doing here? I didn't even push a button. Okay,
itself.
maybe. In there it goes again. It's drifting.
It's like that.
It's still drifting. Let's go into mode 2. Mode 2 turns red, and in mode 2,
You should really record because you can just, kind of show them how it looks. It's stable or whatever.
Okay, I'm gonna power down and we'll start over from there and turn it on.
Then I'll just take that footage and mix it in with everything else.
Just gotta make sure is that, yeah, it is. Actually, I'll turn it on. I'll turn. All right, let's go ahead and turn this on. We'll record on here so you can actually see some of the footage. So now our camera is on and now it is recording. Right now, you can see everything is pretty well balanced. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and push the power button and hold it for 2 seconds for the power to come on. And then we're gonna push the mode button and we'll hold that for 4 seconds and it will initialize and zero itself out. And now, in mode 1, which is green to indicate that it's mode 1, this will stay locked on to your target. No matter which way you turn, it'll stay locked on. When you switch over to mode 2, now it'll stay locked on to a degree, which you can actually turn this and it will pan with the control of your arm, but it will stay locked on vertically. And then in mode 3, we'll quickly tap this 3 times, and now it's blue. In mode 3, this will follow you up, and it will follow you down, and it will follow you left and right. Another thing that you can do, now for the demonstration purposes, why I have this facing towards the camera, I would actually take this, I would take the controls and have them towards me so that I have this thumb control right here. And what we're going to do right now, well, let's see. Okay, to explain something as far as the orientation when you have this first come on, because when you have the controls towards you and you initialize it, it's like that. That particularly is designed for your camera because the back of your camera is going to be facing you. That is a nice thing about this, being able to have that right there so that you have full control. With the GoPro or any other action camera, you don't have access to the touch screen, so that is why I use the app to connect to my phones, or I use my phone to connect to my GoPros. If they're on here, you don't need to have the app, because what you can do is you still have access to push the button. Now, being that I have the controls towards me and I have my GoPro towards me, what you want to do is just tap the power button once and it does a full 180. And now I can use my GoPro with the controls like I should be able to use them. And panning, tilting, love it. This will also do another thing that I learned that I thought was interesting, but the speed is too fast. What this will do, if you push the power button 3 times, 1, 3, it's going to come around and it's going to stop, and then push it 3 times again to tell it to do it, and there it goes. It's taking a 360 shot with you just holding it completely still. So now, like I said, the axes and the orientation of the camera, being a bit of a perfectionist, that's what I don't like. As you can see, here's my lens out here, but my axes are all out here, and as a result of that, you're going to have circular motion. For panning, tilting, you're going to get circular motion. Every gimbal I have seen that is specifically for action cameras, I have seen them where these arms are a lot smaller. This is a lot more compact, and everything is completely centered in the axes for more perfection, for the perfectionist. But if you want to use your phone, this is not a bad item, especially considering that most of these handheld gimbals go from anywhere from $300 to $400. This particular one, it's either Neewer or Neewer, I don't know. But the NW3D2, this particular one is $179. So if you're not a perfectionist and you don't want to spend $300 and can afford to spend $179, this is actually not a bad item. And especially the one feature kind of hit a little bit on that makes this one different. Whoops, I didn't turn it off. It's telling me I didn't turn it off. I'm gonna power it down. Is this right here. This has a screw hole, a standard size, to be able to mount that right on top of a tripod. This piece, you take off your battery cap on the end, or no, you take off the whole handle, sorry. You take off the whole handle here. This goes, your gimbal attaches to this, and now you're gonna be on a tripod, and then your handle will attach to this. So now you have a stationary tripod with a nice gimbal on it, and you can basically remotely control it. I have not seen any other brand that has this. This is one of the things that actually attracted me to this as well, because of not seeing this feature anywhere else, because it makes it a lot more versatile than any of the other gimbals. And let's see. I think that's pretty much it.
What do you hate about it?
What do I hate about it?
Trash it. Trash talk time. Trash talk with Paul.
Well, as far as trashing it, I don't know why all of a sudden today this decided that it was going to start very slowly drifting. I don't know if maybe that means that this joystick is gummed up already. The biggest gripe is the fact, let me go ahead and power this on. The biggest gripe is the fact that you cannot center your lens with your phone or your action camera directly in line with any of the axes. And to me, I don't like that because of the fact of having circular motion. I don't know why this is drifting. It's very slowly drifting, and it should not be doing that. It wasn't doing that last night. There is a way to calibrate the sensors. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. Let's see if that makes a difference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the mode button down to disable everything, to disable our motors. And then you take your joystick and you move this over to the left, and you hold that. And then starts flashing, and now we're coming back. We should be there now, I think. Center yourself. Wow, now it's actually drifting faster.
Just like the Buddha.
It's drifting faster, no. Let me put it to mode 2 and see if it stays still. So we have the USB port here, and the manual says that this is for firmware updates and for to be able to get in and do other settings that are internalized on this. The interesting thing is I could not find anything on the Neewer site as far as getting a firmware update, nor any information in the manual as far as being able to get in and deal with settings on this. So that's something I'm going to look into more. Overall, this is going to serve my needs for what I'm going to be doing. I'm gonna redo this one more time. Set it. You're supposed to actually set this. You have a line on the top of here. You want that, have that centered. That's where you're supposed to have it when you go and initialize it. And it still wants to drift to the left. And it's drifting faster than it was before. So that's a problem, just one day old. Don't know where that came from at all. Something's off, something's not right. So unfortunately, I may just have to send this one back. I put it in mode 2, and now it's drifting on another angle. That's bizarre. Something going on in the joystick? Is the joystick sticking? Oh, now it stopped. Maybe it is. Maybe I gotta work that joystick a little bit more. Insert snide remark here.
I was searching for, I know there's one there. I don't know. I don't have enough coffee in me, I guess.
I'll switch it back to mode 1. There it goes drifting.
You put the best joke into the comments. About Paul not playing with the joystick enough. But there's so many hours in a day, you know.
Wow.
It's drifting, huh?
Yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to get this is for the ability to at car shows and such, because I can walk around car shows, show off cars, film them really nicely. I can actually get inside with this and show the inside without having to get inside the car itself. But now it's doing things one day later that I don't like. May do a follow-up on this one. Sucks.
Camera rolling. Sound, speed.
Okay, we had that drift problem and I did fix it. So I may not have to send this back. If you ever encounter the drift problem like I just had, right now this isn't powered on, so it's going to do whatever it wants. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. And then before you actually initialize, it's called standby mode. This is standby mode until you initialize it with the mode button. In standby mode, if you take your joystick and you push it down and you hold it for 5 seconds, watch the mode button, you'll see that it will flash very quickly in red. There, we just did our factory reset. So now, if I power this down, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, turn it back on, and then let's go ahead and initialize. And now we have no drift. Operating just as it should. Now it's doing exactly what it needs to be doing. Yay! My toy is okay.